Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is the April reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. This month, I will be using the Celtic Cross Tarot spread, and the first card that comes out in the position of what is currently happening in your current situation is the Star card. And the Star card feels like a change for you. It feels like a little bit of a softening up of the way that you approach things, of the way that you handle people and individuals in your life. The Star card is representative of just really being in like a very peaceful place, really trying to like balance your emotions, your workload, with your nurturing capabilities, possibly at home. And just like an overall sense of being like grounded and rooted and hopeful. And that usually is coming after like a period of like a lot of a turmoil or just a lot of uprooting in your life. But specifically for this card, for some reason it feels like there's like a transformation going on with you. Again, possibly in the way that you handle people, in the way that you deal with people. For some of you, this could be in terms of like your relationship with a specific person. It could be in terms of your relationship with a Aquarius individual specifically, but it's just like a general type of feeling. Some of you might be wanting to be in a space where you are kind of using a softer touch or a softer approach, and you might be getting a little bit of resistance from someone else outside of you. But there's definitely like a shift and a transformation happening here in terms of being like heavy-handed in your approach with certain things. This could be the way that you're handling things, or this could be the way that someone else like outside of you is handling you at this time. Overall, there's just a sense of really like believing that anything can happen, really believing that anything that you want, you can have. You might be feeling inspired to start something new, whether it be a relationship, a new job, really strike out on your own and start a new business. And so there's like a really strong sense and a strong feeling of like hope for the future, for what could happen, what could be sent your way, what could be coming towards you, whether it just be, what you wish for overall or what you've been working towards. Some of you might be kind of really leaning into your spirituality, getting in tune with your ancestors. This particular card for me really has a feeling of like the Temperance card, which to me is like grandmother energy. And so if some of you have like a grandmother who's in the ancestral realm, who's an Aquarius, I feel like she might be kind of like, you might be like reconnecting with her or getting messages from her. What is crossing you is being represented here by the Ten of Pentacles. And so this is, for some of you, and this is not for all of you, you will experience some sort of inheritance. Like the Ten of Pentacles is talking about like, like financial wealth and financial stability and security. Like it really is a good card to have. But I'm getting the sense that for some of you, you are going to be going through a transition in terms of like your finances and your ability to like really soften up in terms of the way that you deal and handle with people due to some sort of financial windfall that comes to you as a result of a passing away of this feminine energy in your life, right? So this money or that comes to you is going to give you the opportunity to make changes in terms of like the stability of your life, in terms of the way that you're able to live. It could be the opportunity to kind of like usher in the changes that you want to implement into your life that you might not have been financially able to do prior to this. So this does feel like a sort of inheritance, a sort of windfall, money that comes into you, or you might be waiting for money to come into you with the Star card, and like being hopeful about money coming to you that will allow you to kind of like change the way that you live your life, right? So this is going to be like a public thing, right? It's going to be kind of like out in the public. So it might be like you might win the lotto or something. Or again, for some of you, it might be someone that passes away that leaves you like a public inheritance. But so this is what's kind of crossing you right now for this month. And it's going to give you, again, like the opportunity to really like live the life that you want, or put you in a financial position to be able to kind of like usher in this period of change for you, where you're not so stressed, or you're not so focused on, like your money or your finances, and really kind of add like a transformative type of thing to you, where you're going to transform the way that you are, the way that you present yourself to the public. In the past, the card that comes out is the Three of Wands. And so really it feels like you had a lot of plans, a lot of things that you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to start your own business. Maybe you wanted to travel. Maybe you wanted to go overseas. I feel like you had a lot of plans in place. And so this windfall and this money coming into you is really going to give you the opportunity to kind of really set a lot of those plans in motion, again, without the stress of having to worry about like your finances or where the money is coming from. This is really going to help you in your plans, right? In the conscious realm, the card that comes out for you guys is the Hierophant, and this is your court card, right? So I feel like you're stepping into this space where you're getting really in tune with who you are on a natural intrinsic level, like your inner child, tapping into the old ways of being, the old ways of doing things, tapping into like your spirituality. So there really is going to be like this is like a really transformative period for you. Going through a lot of changes in terms of healing. Like you might have some old childhood issues that are kind of like coming up, and so you're gonna be in the position to be able to kind of like transmute all the pain or all of the issues that you had pertaining really to like your spirituality, but also pertaining to like how you deal with like power, whether it be someone that had power over you, or the way that you deal with your own power and the way that you handle people. So this is really going to be like a period for you to really kind of like step into the space where you're really tapping into like the natural elements of yourself. Really being able to be in a space where you're able to provide a guidance and assistance to other people, whether it be spiritual, whether it be financial assistance. And so you're really going to be stepping into this place and kind of like stepping into your own space of like personal power. I feel like that is kind of like an issue coming up this month, is really stepping to a space of kind of like transmuting all of the past issues that you might have that kind of blocked your ability to like use your natural power or your natural prowess. Again, there's like this whole thing here where spirituality and tapping into spirit is also playing a role. Again, like I said, there could be someone that passes away or someone that has passed away. For some of you, you are like really in tune spiritually, and so you might be really able to have conversations or talk to like your ancestors. But I do kind of feel like that is kind of like playing a role here, where your ancestors might be helping you in terms of like your finances, or really trying to like put things in your path that allow you to inherit things. And so your inheritance might not just be on a physical note, but it's also going to be like on a spiritual note as well. In the subconscious, the card that is coming out is the Four of Cups. And so the Four of Cups is really just talking about focusing on the negative aspects of your life, or focusing on the things that you lost that you don't currently have. But as you can see in this rendition, and in all renditions of this particular card, there is something that is being offered to you. You might not notice it. And this is because you're like focused on, you might be focused on the things that you lost as opposed to the things that are available to you. Sometimes when things happen, some things are like taken out of your life, or people might be taken out of your life, or a situation might change. And so we mourn the situation, and we mourn the loss of the situation, not necessarily realizing that in the midst of chaos, there's always an opportunity for growth, for change, and there might be something that is being presented to you in the middle of that you might not necessarily be seeing. So, and that is happening on a subconscious level. In the near future, the card that comes out is the Page of Pentacles. And so this is like this new energy, this new rooted energy. You might be given like I said, there's a thing of inheritance here. And so this is the opportunity for you to grow the things that you are given, whether it be like a financial gift that has been given to you. You might have the opportunity to grow that, to build that. And for some of you, this is like starting like a new business venture or starting on a new project or a new idea, but really kind of like focusing on the work that needs to go into making that thing grow and to making it developed. And so this is like a really focused type of energy. What do you do with this coin that you have? What do you do with the resources that are available to you? Are you paying attention to the resources that are available to you? And are you using them to benefit you and to help you grow? Because really, this card is like really showing that is something that is going to be happening in the near future. And so it's just an opportunity to build and develop and grow what has been given to you or what will be given to you. The current action is being represented here by the Ten of Cups. And so this is like really just being in a space of being blissfully happy. You might be in love, you might be thinking about getting married, but you're really like, in a space where you're having like good relationships, good loving relationships, particularly with those that you live with, that you share personal space with, and really coming into like your own like inner harmony and inner alignment with, just being in tune with who you are. I feel like you're finally coming to a space where you're accepting who you are as a person and really kind of working with the strong aspects of your personality and being aware of what it is that you have to offer, and what it is that you might lack, but it's like a thing that you're working towards, that space where you're perfectly, in alignment. So that's like the actions that you're currently taking. But this is really like good, foundational energy. When we see like the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, it's like everything is coming together. Like your finances are coming together, your emotional well-being is coming together, the space that you're living in, it feels good, you're with the people that you love and care about, and it's like an overall energy of like being family and connected with those that you are around. So this is like really good energy that you're living in right now. However, there is a person that might be outside of you, outside of your situation, that is having like an influence on your situation, right? We have the Queen of Cups here. So this is representative of a Cancer, a Pisces, or a Scorpio individual who might not necessarily be operating in their highest self. And so they might be trying to kind of like puncture your inner sanctum or just being a pain in your ass, right? Normally I would say that this means like you're out of in tune with your intuition and all that, but that is not how this is reading. This is definitely someone that's outside of you. I mean, this is like completely counter to all the other cards that have been pulled in terms of what you're dealing with. And so this is definitely an outside influence that is really trying to like penetrate what it is that you're working on and the changes that you're trying to make. They might not necessarily be happy with the changes that you're trying to make in your life, and so they're trying to kind of like stick their toe in there and try to influence you backwards from where the path that you're trying to go on. I'm going to pull some clarifiers for this card, and I'll be using the Lenormand Oracle deck for that. Okay, so the clarifiers for this card is the Star card, the Rider, the Scythe, the Dog, and the Sun. So a couple of things are happening here. This particular person could be someone that kind of is like losing faith in the fact that you guys, it's like the relationship that you have might be changing, and so they're kind of like losing faith that things will be the same, or things will ever return to what they used to be. The Scythe is like an indication of endings, and so for them, you moving forward or you kind of like going on a new path is like it feels like a sudden ending to them, and they might have felt in the past that they were like super loyal to you, and so they're not really necessarily feeling this, right? But they're kind of holding on to a little bit of hope. And so when you find that you get into like a discrepancy with them, or you get into like a little bit of a tussle with them, it's due to the fact that they're feeling like you're leaving them behind, right? And so that is kind of like has them like, in their feelings. And this is for some of you. This is not for all of you. There is a sense that even though you are moving forward on this new path and you feel like really hopeful about the changes that are coming into your life, there might be moments where you kind of like lose faith, or kind of lose you kind of like lose like your belief in the things working out the way that you think they are going to. And so you have to kind of remember that you're kind of like putting this energy out in the atmosphere. So you want to be like mindful of that. But every once in a while, when we are going on a new path, we might revert to old ways of being, or old patterns that don't necessarily suit us. And so this is just a reminder that everything that you put your faith into, that you put your work into, that you put your planning into, will eventually be successful, right? So there might be moments where you feel doubtful about, where you're going. And there might be moments where you realize that the people that have been with you for a long time, or that have been loyal to you for a long time, may not necessarily be with you on this next stage of your journey. And that is okay. Okay. But again, I do feel like this, the Queen of Cups is not your energy. This is like an outside energy that is kind of like, running interference a little bit, because you look like you're kind of like moving away from them, or moving in a new path, in a new direction. And that really kind of like grinds their gears, or has them like really in their feelings about that. In the position of your hopes, your dreams, and also your fears is the Queen of Swords. And so the Queen of Swords is really about just instituting boundaries, of being very clear and very direct about the things that you want, the way that you want things to go. Like I said, this is really like you stepping into your personal power and your personal energy, with the Hierophant card coming out, being very clear in dealing with people and letting them know, like, okay, these are the changes that I'm making in my life. You're either with it or you're against it. And if you are against it, I'm moving on without you, right? So this is like very clear boundaries, being very direct, being very honest in the way that you approach people, in the way that you communicate with people, and letting them know what it is that you want, where it is that you want to go, and how you feel like they're going to be playing a role in this, next stage of your life. For some of you, this is a definitive energy, right? So this could be an actual person that's in your life that you might be having like this 10 of Cups, or this 10 of Pentacles situation with, someone that you might be interested in marrying, or, really kind of developing like a family bond with, having children with. With the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles here, like this could definitely be this person, and that would be Gemini, Aquarius, or a Libra individual. So you have like a lot of air around you. And so, like I said, this person could be the person that you really have like the next stages of your life really includes this person. Now, I want to kind of show you how the cards look when they lay out. These two individuals seem to kind of like be facing off with each other. So if this could potentially be a person that you are currently with, which would be the Aquarius, Gemini, Libra individual, who is kind of like getting into a little bit of a combat situation with a person that was a part of your former life, like that could also be playing out the way that these cards are kind of like facing off with each other, right? So there's going to be two feminine energies if you are a masculine person or a masculine presenting person. Then there's two feminine energies that are kind of like squaring off in this new portion of your life. So a lot of the tumult, they might both be a part of your family, so to speak. And so there might be a little bit of a tumultuous interaction between these two. And so that's something to also be mindful of. Whoever this Queen of Swords person is in your life, like she does have a very light-hearted approach to things. And so there might be a situation where there's going to be things revealed or things that kind of come to the surface that might be revealed by someone, and she's not going to necessarily take it too seriously. But you want to understand that your window of opportunity with this person is really kind of short-lived, so you want to be careful about how much stuff you throw at them, or how much stuff they need to deal with in terms of like this dynamic, because I feel like she can quickly revert from being lighthearted to not being lighthearted, right? So some of this, depending on how it plays out in your situation, this could be someone that's younger than you. It could also be a child, but there's a potential and opportunity here for you with this Queen of Swords individual, in terms of like, having like a really positive outcome with this person. With the luck card here and the moon card and the child card here, there is a potential also, like I said, for marriage, but also potential for children. So that is something to be to consider for this month. For the final outcome, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. And so this is a warning to you to just be mindful of the way that you spend your money. It is never wrong to give what you do have to share with people if you have an overabundance of things, but be mindful of over giving and over spending, but also giving too much of yourself energetically to people and situations and dynamics that might drain you. So in terms of like a lot of like the back and forth that you might experience, like you might kind of like want to be mindful of how much time and energy you put into people who bring drama or issues into your life. But also with the clarification for this card being the whip, the cross, and the garden, you are definitely, like I said, you're in the position where you might be getting a financial windfall, whether it be an inheritance, or whether you win money, or whether you get money that you've been waiting on, or kind of like looking forward to. And so you want to be mindful that more money does definitely bring more problems. And so there might be you might feel inclined to share what it is that you get because you feel like you owe certain people, or you feel like you want to give away money to people, but you want to be mindful of not doing that, because this is seed money for something else that you're working on or trying to build on. And so you're going to be mindful of not necessarily squandering the benefits or the excuse me, of squandering money that comes to you that is supposed to help you build something else. Like I said, with the near future, you had the Page of Pentacles, and so that is an opportunity for growth. And so you want to be mindful not to squander your opportunities for growth for frivolous reasons, right? So hold on to the money that you get and don't overspend too much. I'm going to close out the reading. I had to take a pause for a second because there were some other things coming into me, and I just wanted to make sure that I took the opportunity to verbalize it in a way that you can understand what I'm saying, so that it doesn't come off as jumble. But there's also this like overall theme here about inventory, right? So financial inventory, spiritual inventory, emotional inventory. And there is like a real sense of the opportunity to transform the way that you approach or the way that you handle certain aspects of your life, particularly when it comes to your finances, but also your emotions, balancing that within the realm of like your family structure. And this is not for everyone. There is this idea here that you're really kind of stepping back a little bit to really look at your overall life, right? The trajectory of your life and the way that you've managed your finances, but also the way that you've managed your relationships with people, in and outside of your family. But I really feel like the family aspect is of the most importance right now, because it feels like some of you are kind of going through this stage where you're like, okay, well, what is really important to me? And you're realizing that family is what is most important. but I think some of you might not have necessarily treated your family in the best way. And so now you're trying to really fix a lot of those issues. But you can't fix that with money, right? You can't make those fixes with giving away money. It has to be like an emotional fix. There has to be like a balancing, a rebalancing of the dynamic of your family, not on a financial note, but on a spiritual and on an emotional note. For some of you, there's this idea here that you are really in a space where you're looking at what it is that you're going to be leaving behind. So really establishing like a legal document, a will, an inheritance for people in your family, for children in your family. But if you're also inheriting something, you're also kind of thinking about what it is that you're going to be doing with the inheritance. How are you going to make it grow? So some of you might be wanting to invest your inheritance, but also trying to figure out what to do with the inheritance that you have. The family crossing the star is kind of like a thing where, like I said, more money, more problems. And so that is kind of like playing a role here in your situation, because I feel like you are either getting money or in the process of giving money away. And so the family, sometimes family just really wants to be bothered with you for money, right? And unfortunately, that can sometimes be the case. And so I feel like you're in a space where you're trying to figure out who is really for you and who's really just there for what they can get out of the equation. And so you don't want to put yourself in a space where you feel like, okay, well, this is my family, so I have to give, and then be in a space where you're giving because you can't buy love, right? You can't buy love. But I feel like there's like a real sense of like really getting in tune, or really getting back in tune with your spirituality, and really kind of like sinking back into that, because for you, there is a sense of peace attached to your spirituality that you might have kind of like stepped away from, and now you're trying to reclaim that, because, there's a realization here that the earthly things and the things that we most are trying to seek out on an earthly note don't necessarily translate into the spiritual realm. Like, they really don't have that much value, right? It's really about your connections. And I think you're in this space where you're trying to really kind of transform the way that you think, but also your actions, and specifically the actions that you might have taken over the past couple of years in dealing with, balancing out like your finances, your spirituality, and also the emotional aspects of your life. So those are some of the things that came up. I hope I explained it well. I hope it makes sense to you. I'm going to go ahead and move into the advice cards for you. The advice cards are coming from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. And the two cards that came out for you guys is Lord and Star Ancestor. The Star Ancestor card says to follow the voice of your soul. Heed the messages coming directly from your soul. The Star Ancestor is a Native American term for extraterrestrial light beings who are dedicated to the healing and growth of the world. These incredible beings are divine embodiments of love who bring wisdom from the higher realms. Often people feel a sense of connectedness when they look up into the night sky and see the stars. I believe that's because they are remembering their starry connections, and those are what this card represents. The Star Ancestor is reminding you that you have otherworldly support, and that your friends from the stars can help you if you are willing to be helped. They can support you in connecting with and following your soul's deepest calling. There's a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light on the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Information and inspiration that has been coming your way recently is not new information, but memories. Your feelings of being drawn in a particular direction are the awakening of an aspect of your soul. You are being drawn towards a road that will not only light you up, but also help you light up your corner of the world. Continue following the cosmic guidance that is coming your way. And the second card is the Lord card, which says, take charge with authority. Don't be afraid to take charge or use your voice. Be strong. The Lord is the consort of the lady, the emperor in the traditional tarot. He represents an authoritative man who isn't afraid to lay down the law, but this doesn't mean he is angry or chauvinistic. He is self-possessed, reliable, and ambitious, a man of honor who has earned his place in society. The Lord in this oracle holds a ram's staff and wears a crown of antlers, showing that he keeps himself firmly rooted in the ground and is protective of his people. His regal air indicates that he has a taste for the finer things in life, yet he is sensitive to those who are less fortunate than he is. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that. There's no excuse for bad behavior, and the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth. And it's time to take change before you find yourself in a situation that you don't want to be in. You're being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. This card also brings the energy of ambition and can show you have the potential to move forwards on a professional level, but only if you act with authority and show who you really are. And so the Lord card is almost like a representation of Taurian energy, right? And so that is kind of like the energy that is kind of around, but it makes sense with the reading and like the energies that I was feeling in terms of like taking control and taking charge, particularly of your finances, because you don't necessarily want to be benevolent to everyone. Because it feels like there's like a lot of push and pull energy attached to this. And so you just want to be in control of your energy and make sure that you're handling your finances in the correct way, and you know, kind of like rebalancing yourself and kind of like transitioning to a new aspect or a new stage in your life, which is really being the Lord of your life, being the king of your castle, and the king of your domain, or the queen of your castle, or the queen of your domain. And so that is kind of like the energies for you guys this month. It's interesting that the Lord has a ram staff, because that is like, you know, Aries season, and so this is like perfect, you know, it kind of like comes together perfectly, right? So thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate you being here. I hope that you got something out of this reading. Please feel free to like the video, share your comments and your thoughts below, as well as sharing the video with someone who you feel could benefit from the message here, but also subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon.